Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Warbird Wednesday. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum, and today we are continuing down our review of reconnaissance aircraft. We are reaching the end of World War II, early 1950s. I have two requests. This aircraft was requested by a viewer, and you know who you are because I don't have permission to use your name to give you recognition, but you know who you are. The next 2 weeks, we're going to do two viewer recognition aircraft, and the second one, I'm going to give you a hint, and you got to look it up what it is. It is the Flying Clog. So think about that one. The nickname was the Flying Clog. But today, we're doing the XF-12, the Rainbow. Now, we don't have a version of the Rainbow, but you will use a B-29, which, by the way, is a Boeing product. This was the Rainbow was a Republic product. Greg has gone all in with my headgear. This is one of those where we're doing the headgear to match the airplane. We will throw that off. There you go, Greg. Now, of course, this is a B-29. Greg can throw up a plan view of the Republic XF-12 Rainbow. Now, this, Greg, is an aircraft that, first of all, it's a great-looking airplane. It had, in my book, a real future, but you know what killed it was a transition to jet engines. It killed it. If the airplane had been a little bit earlier, it would have been, I think, more of a success and probably cut over to an airliner, which we're going to talk about that. Now, the airplane was incredibly fast, 470 miles an hour. It first flight was in 1946. It was retired in 1952. There were two aircraft built. It had 4 engines, and we're going to be talking about flying on all 4s in a minute. They were Pratt and Whitney. They were 4360 engines, so tremendous horsepower. Now, the airplane was originally designed to have contra-rotating or counter-rotating props on the same axis on one engine, but they decided not to do that because you're adding a whole another level of complexity, so they just went with a standard, 4-bladed propeller setup. But the aircraft was very slick. Now, to give you an idea of size, the nacelles on the Rainbow were almost as big as the fuselage of this P-47 behind me. So they were very big. The aircraft wasn't tiny. It was pretty good size. So it was an interesting aircraft, but it had the same problem in that this overhang that I talked about with jets, it actually had, it was a camera setup, right? So it was a reconnaissance aircraft. It could actually fly over the target and develop the film in flight. So the film was done. It had its own, basically, development, whatever they did, to develop the film that it shot. And then when the airplane landed, the film was ready to be viewed. So it was pretty technically ingenious. Now, the thing about Republic aircraft, and I want to talk about them here, which is going to lead me up to my salute, is that Republic was known, this was kind of contrary. You look at the P-47 behind me, which they called the Jug. The aircraft is not an elegant design. It's a brute. It's a big, heavy interceptor fighter. This aircraft couldn't be more different. It was elegant. It was beautiful, in my opinion. And it was everything that you would expect about one of those sleek, late 1940s design. It was built by Republic. Republic knew their stuff. They knew how to build airplanes. They built a lot of successful designs. This one came out originally out of a design requirement in 1943, so the airplane went pretty far back. But at the end of the day, Republic just couldn't pitch the military version of the airplane, which is the photographic reconnaissance version, or the airliner. But if you were a Republic employee you deserve a salute. And I don't know, honestly, Republic was absorbed so long ago. I don't know how many Republic line workers there may be left, but these folks built incredible aircraft. And the P-47, as I said, contributed to winning the air war over Europe. There is no question that the P-47, along with the P-51, which gets a lot more press and is a more elegant looking airplane, but the P-47 was equally responsible for winning the air war in Europe. So today I am going to salute you all Republic employees with Poppy. Oh, you're worried about my digestive system. Now, yeah, he's rubbing his tummy. A probiotic soda. Fascinating. It's for a healthy gut. I have some gut. I'm not sure it's healthy. Infused with apple cider vinegar. That's kind of interesting. Immunity. So thank you. You're protecting me from COVID. And caffeine free. So we're going to try this. Greg, this is a fairly safe choice from some of the death juice that you've been giving me recently, but it did fizz and it is cold. So to all you Republic employees, thank you so much for what you did for the victory in World War II. If you're watching this, you're still around, or you worked for a Republic aircraft in a legacy position, and all of the airplanes you produced. I salute you. How do I, that's nasty. You know what it tastes like? It tastes like, I'm only doing two, really stale cotton candy. If that makes it, it's that kind of sickly sweet. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to taste, or whether it's just, Greg orders these things in bulk. They bring trucks in. I have no idea, whether or not it got hot, and it isn't supposed to taste like that. But my tonitrous assistant, it is not pleasant to the palate. So the aircraft, by the end of the 1940s, they had made a decision that they were not going to go on with the airplane, and I'm actually holding one of the aircraft that drove a nail in its coffin, which was they felt that the B-29, which was pressurized and was fairly fast, could do photographic work, and they just didn't need a specialized aircraft. And you got to remember, we talked about the predecessor, the XF-11 last week to the XF-12. The XF-11 didn't go well either, and there were a lot of stuff, and I think the Air Force might have been kind of reeling a little bit and trying to just kill off these legacy designs from World War II that were started mid-war. So the airplane kind of went away. Now, it was slated to have an airliner version that could carry 46 passengers. It was pressurized. Now, think about a 450-mile, if they could have kept it at that with the weight, that was called the RC-2. Now, what really killed it was the Republic was counting on the military contracts to buy down the tooling cost for the aircraft, and then they would flip the aircraft, like a lot of military versions, into the civilian market. But the Air Force, the Army Air Force, or the U.S. Air Force, would have paid for the baseline tooling of creating the airplane, and the airliner version is just essentially a follow-on, and they could make some money on that. That didn't happen, and that meant that was the end of the program. Now, late in the game, in the testing on this, one of the prototypes crashed and was lost. And then sadly, and this is where, when we do all this stuff and you do the research and you think about, and this isn't the first airplane that we've talked about, including B-29s at China Lake, the last prototype of this, the last airplane, didn't go to a museum, which it really should have, because it was kind of a first airplane. It was expended as a target at Aberdeen Proving Grounds. They blew it up. So again, a challenge with the military not really thinking about what I would call the British model, where the British War Museum would just save all types of airplanes. You can go to the British War Museum, I've said it before, and see all kinds of interesting airplanes. The Americans didn't really do that. And with the destruction of the aircraft at Aberdeen Proving Ground, the last prototype, the airplane went into history, and we only now can enjoy it in illustrations and whatever film that they got of it flying. Now, if you want to protect your noggin in the summer heat, see, protect your noggin, you need one of these caps. These are really cool. They have the new logo on them, which I really like. I love the fact that it's a Velcro strap in the back. I like that. I don't like those snappy hats, you know, with the plastic thingy in the back or the slide thingy. See, Greg, I'm telling you what to get me for Christmas. But this is a great hat. Go ahead and click on the link, and Jason will happily run down to the store, making sure that his hat doesn't fall off in the summer heat, and get one out to you. If you came across us on YouTube, all we do are military aviation videos. We're one-take wonders. We do these in one take. We try to put some production to it. And if you like military aircraft, that's all we do. I encourage you, give us a subscription, give us a like, send us to your friends who like military aviation videos. If you tripped over us on Facebook, give us a like and a comment. We will comment back. The 2 suggestions for aircraft came off of Facebook, another hint. So we do pay attention to that. We will talk to you back and forth. It's always interesting to get your comments. And so we really appreciate that. We cannot do the restoration on these aircraft without your simoleons. So if you can click on that link, which is also here, we could sure use a few bucks. We like that. And lastly, if you're homeschooling the kids, there's educator links and 2 study guides in this program. Please download those study guides, and we'd be happy. All you have to do is load up the link. You can print them out, and away you go into a world of aviation to teach the kids. We'd love to help you with that. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum. Thanks so much. Have a great day.